I don't even know if my phone is doing the right thing. Let's see what I think about where I'm in. I think I need to bring it down some. Well, I'm trapped in again, y'all. I apologize because I ain't like oars the way. I ain't like oars the way. Ready? Come on, just stay in there. Be a good phone. What is that? Y'all people. I guess I have no lollygag in sight because don't have the hot tea on the edge. You should never have hot tea on the edge. Oh my goodness, y'all. Welcome, welcome, welcome immediately. As soon as I sit down, just welcome, 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 y'all. It is Sylvie 414. I is Sylvie, a rough edge lady. It's late than a mug. And that's what happens when it's late than a mug. Everything. I've had my challenges. Ooh, buddy. But I's here. I's here. It is Sylvie 414, you guys. And I is Sylvie, a rough edge lady. I don't even know how my camera is really cameraing, you know what I'm saying? Like, because all of that is normally done before I press go. And I pressed go and forgot I had the phone still in my hand and everything. But y'all know, I am, Lord, y'all, I'm struggling because my arm hurt again. Y'all remember when this joker first started hurting, I couldn't move it at all. But when I just tried to go throw up my one in the middle, like I normally do, woo, that arm was like, slow down, down, down. And I was like, okay, one in the middle coming to bring y'all some that balance. You may see things this way and they may see things that way. But if we come together and just learn how to understand, not agree, understand, we may be able to learn how to even effectively communicate in the midst of all of that. Just a little bit of balance. Just a little bit of balance. Ain't nobody ever gonna see things all the same way. We all, we all have our way that we do things. We all have our way that we see things. And that could be right with our own family. We ain't even talking about strangers. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Y'all like, share, and subscribe. Like, share, and subscribe. I am tired. But I said I was coming live today before I closed my eyes. And so, I is live today before I close my eyes. And if y'all see the name of my title, I have that this is a Morico Johnson update. I went in and I Googled and I saw that there was some new information. Well, what's this new information? What's this new information? I'm just sitting here thinking. I think I just put that stuff in the playlist in January. Yeah, yeah. Cause Tanisha, I did come on and say really quickly that Tanisha, y'all know what? I could have been so eager. If it is, we just gonna give it again. And I apologize if I'm wasting time, but we putting a face to his name. We gonna put a face to his name if this is information because with some of the information I read, because I read an article that was from December. I know the initial when I went, I met Tanisha in September because she took me to have a surgery done. So that was in September when I met her. I really feel like I went live on this before December because I'm just sitting here thinking right now, like, did I really just come on just to get information that I've already given? But I'm sitting here. This is just some chamomile tea, y'all. I'm sitting here and I'm thinking because they gave some information about the PI, and I'm like, I thought we already went through that. We gonna talk about it all over again, though. 'Cause I got some other stuff to talk about. We're gonna talk about it because um I wanted to give the information on the trial date as well, and just reiterate. If I'm not doing nothing but reiterating the things that they talk about, but no, because I don't think. Mm-mm. Cause no, I ain't talking about this. I ain't talking about this. Cause there's some stuff that they saying that the defense attorney said it was like a preliminary hearing, and they're saying that the defense attorney, yeah, made some requests and but I know some of it I have. That's why when I looked at that part, I was like, well, didn't they go over this when I was going when I read when I excuse me when I watched the real Dana, like they spoke about the PI. If it wasn't the real Dana where they spoke about the PI, I read it in that Huntington Daily News .com. But anywho, I hope y'all have had a wonderful day. We is like 2 days into the week. 2 days into the week. I ain't stopped. That stuff. I did good, y'all. I did good. I turned off all of my notifications except for my text messages. I just got a text message and it's from one of my ends. I don't know if that's my girlfriend or my baby, but it's from one of the ends in my life. Um, okay, so look from Linda. Look from Linda, I am the person that says just because you love somebody, that's what flattery is all about. We've been on this flattery thing. Just because you love somebody does not mean, and I didn't even see what that notification was, it could have been another text message, does not mean that you just allow any and everything, any and every type of behavior. That makes no sense. For those of us that have children, I'm not saying that they aren't empty, because we're getting ready to talk about a mom that let her do what she wanted, saying nobody loved her. But it ties into why I'm going in at first to say, I love this person that I'm about to talk about. Y'all remember when I had talked about Lovely T and how her chat was coming in her neck because she was checking 50 Cent, but Lovely T sat up there and she dropped out. 2 good bars. Not 2 good bars, but I'm old, so I'll say 2 good verses, because the 2 good bars don't sound like it was enough. Like when I say she dropped bars, she dropped bars, and then she checked them. Now a whole lot of this stuff is going on. We got a whole lot of stuff going on about a whole lot of essays and all this stuff like that, and underage. It's essay is one thing. When essay and underage is a totally different thing. I was watching a TikTok today that was speaking about young men being raised by 304s. I think she was talking about a young man that had either hurt his girlfriend, unalived his girlfriend, but she was speaking about the mentality of these young men who are raised by 304s. And for anyone who does not know what a 304 is, it is a woman who is very promiscuous. She out there in the streets like that. And I'm not saying 304s because it's not a true statement, but I don't particularly like cliche stuff. But I do know that it's a thing. If we just because Sylvie just be liking for y'all to ponder. If we just try to just attach some things, if we take our emotions out of it, because emotions is gonna, make you just go to, yeah, she's a 304, she was a fast little girl and this and that, and I always try to come back to why she had been fast. Why might she have been a fast little girl? Could it have had anything to do with, I met her when she was younger, real daddy died when she was younger. Her mom's let her do what she wanted, seems no one loved her. Someone that you could love but you could not yet touch. A diamond in the rough something. Because I done forgot the rest of it. Because that was a baby. And me and Boo talked about it. And she was like, well, and that part wasn't Tupac, but Tupac said some things too. But it was Tupac's song. It was Tupac's song. The name of the song is Just Like Daddy. Ooh. Just like Daddy. Just like Daddy, come on. Just like Daddy. I met her when she was younger. Real daddy died when she was younger. Her mom let her do what she wanted. It seems nobody loved her. What was she going to do? If he could see that it seems nobody loved her, can you imagine what she felt? Why did it seem nobody loved her? Where was her mom? What was her mom doing? Because again, we don't know how her real daddy died when she was younger. Because everybody is always hollering about single mothers, and we don't always know why mothers become single. But my thing is, whether you're single or not, because I know that there are single mothers who don't have promiscuous children. I didn't. Okay, we're going to watch the arm movement. I didn't. But guess what? I was. I didn't rule with an iron fist. And me and my babies are going through our own things. But they wasn't out there in the streets. I wasn't out there in them streets, but I was a promiscuous little girl. But you have adults that are making songs that they want to be just like your daddy, but when you think about your daddy, he's not supposed to be like the adults that want to be just like your daddy, but the fact of the matter is that sometimes your daddy is just like those adults that want to be just like your daddy. Are we following? And then comes 304s, or little boys that want to hurt or unalive little girls. See, it's our babies that I care about. While everybody is out there separating from man and woman, and got the people just out here, you rarely ever hear our little boys being covered. Our little boy, you rarely ever hear our little boys being covered. But effeminate covers them. If y'all go look it up in Strong's Exhaustive Concordance, I promise you effeminate covers the little boys. Let me see what them other words was. Let's see. Said she was locked down at mom's house watching the kids. I know some teenagers that were locked down at mom's house watching the kids. Never had a father or a family, but I'll be there. No need to fear so much insanity. Those are Tupac's words. And yes, he said that look, he said that he was gonna wait till she was older. He said he was gonna wait till she was older, but the fact that that kind of music was allowed, and guess what? I didn't go through the whole thing with bars. I was listening. When you get older, if you know better, you do better. And I have a whole issue with mothers and women who do it to young men. Oh my God, he gonna be you my little boyfriend, or you gonna be my boyfriend when you get older? Cause a child should always be allowed to be a child. I didn't share this anywhere. Oh, I don't think my arm likes that cup anymore. Oh, everything. Oh my God. Oh my God. I'm gonna have to ice this before I go to sleep. But the young lady on TikTok was just basically like, you need to just take the 304 don't need to have children. But if we understand cycles, it made me wonder. Have you gone through anything that you're speaking about this 304 so harshly about, lady? Because I do believe that there should be woman code. I don't believe that she's supposed to be okay with it. But I don't believe that you are supposed to be speaking harshly about something that you may not really be privy to, because that's the way it was coming across. As if your nose was down. Excuse me. As if your nose was up in the air. And you would have had to look down at her. But if your nose is up in the air and you're trying to look down, you still can't see properly. It's distorted. So you should look somebody in the eye, and you may be, and you should think not so highly of yourself per the study, and you may be willing to have a little more compassion when you speak about somebody, because maybe then somebody might. We don't know, because everybody that harsh just thinks that harsh is the way. Because the truth. Maybe somebody would listen if you soften your words. I don't know. Could be. So, then there was O'Shea, who spoke about Keisha Coles and her dating these younger men and saying that she dated younger men so that she could. I can't speak for Keisha Coles, but I can say that my ex-husband was younger than me, and I definitely could not control that young man. He was a year younger than me. Um, I whether or not it's someone younger than me or not, I don't even want to be in the presence of a man that can be controlled, because that means you've given your power to a woman. And if you give your power to a woman, see, he's blaming Keisha Coles for a man that gives her power to a woman, because some way, somehow, there's always going to be a way to try and blame the woman. Now, with that being said, I'm not saying, again, as I said, I can't speak for Keisha Coles, I can only speak for me. And I can't even say that that's not a true statement, because one thing for sure and two things for certain. When I tell you I wasn't looking for support for O'Shea, I wasn't looking for this support for you, O'Shea. I wasn't looking for it. All that I was doing is being disturbed and interrupted. I am so ready for my thing to get fixed so that, like, my mic could be right here, and I could be on my mic, right? But if I just leave it, it's just gonna fall. And I have it tightened up, y'all. I have it tightened up. Only reason it's not falling over here is because it's resting. And let me do this, cause I be done did some things. Y'all know it's late. I done said with the late things is stuffing and thinging. Um, all I was doing was being disturbed on, I think, a Saturday night, because I have a routine, because sometimes I do watch TV. I don't really be watching TV and just be on, but sometimes I do watch TV. So I have a routine of the things that I watch, because I'm redundant. And so I'm in here and I'm searching for shows, and the shows ain't on this channel that I normally watch. No, they on this Saturday, and I was looking for Law and Order Special Victims Unit, and it done stop coming on after a certain time because they be wanting the soccer. I don't be wanting the soccer. I be wanting to finish Law and Order Special Victims Unit, but they be wanting to soccer. So I had to turn it, and I normally can turn it and start looking at CSI, but they did not want to CSI. They wanted to, what's that show called? The one where they be missing and then they go find you. I can't think of the name, but I like it. But not when I'm trying to watch CSI. That's not what I was looking for. So then I go to a channel where there's normally something, they show all my nice old shows and stuff like that. When I say old shows, the show that was on was probably one of the oldest ones that they show, and that Maud. I was like, why is Maud on? The only reason that I know about a Maud is because of the Queen. Because I really believe the Queen used to watch Maud, because I would have just never watched it on my own. But I love everybody in it because they're the same people that was in Golden Girls. So Maud is watching her grandson, and her grandson is telling her about this young lady that he is just in love with. He's head over heels. She giddy. Oh, he's in love. He's in love. Oh, he's in love. He's in love. He's in love. They're going on a date because he's in love. So he up there preparing for his date. He done went upstairs and started getting spiffy for his date. And then ding dong, ding dong, ding dong, ding dong. And Ma go answer the door. And it's a grown woman out there. She think that she bringing the little girl. So she was looking around for a little girl. And she was like, where's so-and-so? And I was like, I'm so-and-so. And Ma was like, you are who? And she was like, I'm so-and-so. And Ma was like, you are who? And she said, but you don't look 15. And she said, I'm not. I think she was 19. So since she was 19, he had to be well underage, because Maud was having a fit on the inside, raging on the inside. But she let him go out and date the older woman, because that's what the thought process is supposed to be. I can't say that God didn't want me to have no son because of that, but God knows if God would have gave me a son, there is no way on God's green earth. I don't care what you do when you're 21. I just said this for the girl. I just came back on and said it for Aoki. When you're 21, you're 21, and you can do what you want to. Some states, you could do what you want to at 18, but really, it's still, because it still say teen. And why you want to be messing with somebody and say teen? They do it, but they 18 and they legal. And 17 of some of these states say they legal. Anything under 17 is a problem. Anything under 17, I don't even care about that 16. That's anything under 17, because 17 would have been a problem coming to my door. 17 would have been a problem if a grown man was coming to my door. Me and my aunt just talked about it, because my aunt told me when I was younger, she gave the age range of what she felt like was okay, and she just said today on the phone that my grandmother was Tamara Lee Simmons' mama. My aunt was a teenager. And my grandmother, I think she said the dude was 21. And my grandmother let her date him because he was in the military. Don't make it right. Never gonna make it right. If people feel what people feel and what people do, but law should never get into something like that. If people doing things out of their own private home, but law should never tell you that it's okay for an underage child to be with an adult elbow. Law should never tell you that. The biblicals tell you that it ain't. We don't talk about it. I said go look up effeminate. You go look up effeminate, and it will tell you adults should stay away from the babies. Boo, boo, boo. Adults should stay away from the babies. Let the babies be the babies. No touching the babies. What was I supposed to be saying to the people in the back that didn't hear? I don't even remember. I'm going to have to go find it and say it on another night. This is some good old chai I have here. Some good old chai. All right, let's get some scripture right quick, because Morico is the only thing that we're discussing after I get this scripture right quick. That's it. Then I'm going to be out of y'all's hairs. Right quick before I do this scripture. Sylvie's Adventures on the Bus. So I'm sitting on the bus and I'm coming home from attempting to get my lime so I can go ahead on and get my cucumbers and my carrot seeds, the one left for me, because she was eager to get in those carrot seeds, even because she ain't opened the cucumbers, but she got in them carrot seeds, even though I told her, gee, don't you open my seeds, I'm letting you play with the packages, don't you open my seeds. But I was trying to get lime that day, and I wasn't able to get me no lime, so I'm headed on home from my trip. And we is coming up to the downtown station, and so I say to the bus driver, because I only put in $2, and normally I'm going to get a $4.50 pass, so I'm not going to ask no questions. I put in $2. I'm like, bus driver, am I able to get off this bus and go over there to that store and get me something and come back and get on the bus without having an issue of having to pay again? He was like, as long as it don't take too long. Well, I'm certain that it's not going to take too long. I wouldn't even have asked you. I would have just got off the bus and went to the store and was like, if it's there when I get back. You know what I'm saying? I wouldn't have asked him. But I was like, yeah, I'm going to be back. But, I know what time you leave. So I get off the bus and I goes over to the store and gets what I need from the store. And then I come back to the bus and yeah. And when I tell you, somebody just had to break this thing down to me, like, for dummies, and see how God was really in all of this. Because God was in this. Because, when God told me to come out of them temples, I was like, God, help me to fellowship with those of like faith and all of that stuff. And I asked God, people just be thinking I don't never try to move it. I don't look like them. I don't act like they act and all that stuff like that. So I was falling in line, I studied something and run around for Jesus, but it's a whole fellowship those of like faith. So I get back on the bus, and the bus driver stops me at the door, and he says, ma'am, this lady told me to give this to you, leave this for you. And I look, and it's an all-day bus pass, and I'm like, oh, okay. Never crossed my mind that the bus driver just gave me somebody's all-day bus pass. Stick a pin in that. You stick a pin in it and remember to come back to the pin. Okay, I will. He said the woman said that she wanted you to have her bus pass. So then the woman gets back on the bus. And she was getting on the bus and she was saying, she was like, yeah. She was like, I heard what you were saying. I said, well, ma'am, I definitely appreciate it. I understand and I definitely appreciate it, ma'am. I said, but I ain't going nowhere but right up the street. I said, I promise you. I said, I ain't getting back on another bus. I ain't going to Too Good bus stop. this bus pass is going to get wasted if you give it to me. So I handed it back to her. I said, I really don't want you to give it to me. So she said, okay. She said, it's going to get wasted with me too, because after I get off at the church. I said, yeah. I said, but if you got on more than one bus, it really wasn't wasted on you. But it will get wasted on me. Okay, so we get to riding down the street just a little bit. I think we come to the first bus stop, and this gentleman gets on. He looks a little tattered and bruised. You know, he could have been homeless. I don't know. All I kept saying is, oh, Lord, I sure would love to just say, sir, you need a bus pass. I sure would love to just say, sir, do you need a bus pass? Okay, Lord, well, I sure would love to say, ma'am, don't you want to give him that bus, ma'am, don't you want to give him that bus pass before he put that money in the bus? I ain't say neither. I just sat there. Because at that point, none of it felt like my business. None of it felt like my business. So I just sat there. And so I began to give the woman some of my testimony because she had said something else, and I began to give her. No, as a matter of fact, that was before the man got on the bus. Before the man got on the bus, when she was telling me what she said and I gave her the bus pass back, I began attempting to give her a part of my testimony because I had heard her talking earlier. I was shocked that she gave me the bus pass because I heard her doing a whole lot of religious talking. She had talked about, I didn't hear what she was talking about at first, but where my ears caught on was when she began to talk about her son. It was like, yeah, he said we ain't raised him the streets. I ain't raised him, the streets raised him. And I was like, me and my mama raised you, nigga. Oops. Me and my mama raised you. And then he said something. He said something else. And then her answer switched to, the streets raised you. And I was like, whoa, she just switched that. She said. And then something, it was like every other thing I wasn't hearing. But the next thing I heard was, me and my mama did the best we could. Y'all, I'm not gonna stray away from it. Cause she could have said we did the best we could and left all the rest of it out. She could have said we did the best we could and left all the rest of it out. Like, our children are affected by the things that we do. They have to make the decision to do better when they get older. Yes, they do. Yes, we do. But if we don't think that our actions affect them, we're delusional. We're really delusional because a lot of the parents whose actions really affect their children were affected by the actions of their parents. I just be talking. So her whole conversation was sounding really religious. So I was just like, when I gave her my testimony, she made sure she was letting you know that she was on her way to church, on her way to the bishop's, because the bishop was coming and somebody else was coming, and she kept making sure that you knew that she was on her way to church. So, and she was talking that man's head off where I heard all of that conversation coming from. So I began to attempt to give her a piece of my testimony. When I tell you every time I opened my mouth good, she said, like I couldn't even get 2 words out. She was saying, yeah, oh yeah, oh, okay, like I ain't interested really in what you saying. I was like, whoa. When she did it the 4th time, I cut my conversation off. I said, I get it, Lord, I get it. I said, this is one of your babies. I call them church folk. I call them one church folk, because my whole thought process was, ooh, Lord, what if somebody really came and needed to minister something to her? Part of being a servant is being able to listen as well. She was talking and yapping that mouth off, but she could not even begin to listen. Howsoever, She did go ahead on and ask that man if he wanted that ticket. My heart just, I turned around to him. I said, ooh. I said, God knew I wanted you to have it. God knew. I said it about 3 times. He just smiled. He said, it really, really would have been nice if I could have got it because he was up there struggling. I ain't even see all that. He was like, I was up there struggling with them crumpled dollars. He said, but they went in. I said, oh, that's what I said, and I told him because by this time the woman had gotten off. He thanked the woman and everything, but by this time she had gotten off. I said, I sat back here and I wanted to say to you, and I told him everything that I just said. Wanted to ask you, did you need it? Wanted to ask her, could she give it to you? I said, but I felt like it was none of my business. He said, well, God worked it out just like it was supposed to work out. He said, he said, you don't even understand how much I really appreciate the fact that that was your thought process, though. And when I tell you I sat there and I had a fellowship with those of light, faith, I sat, I supped, like my Jesus does. That's what I did. I had a church folk experience because the experience with that woman was church folk behavior. And then I had a fellowship with those of like faith. Now let's get some scriptures. Let's get some scriptures. Go. I had 2 pens and now I got none. Proverbs 16 and 18. Pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty heart, and haughty spirit before a fall. Pride goeth before destruction, and an haughty spirit before a fall. Genesis 42 and 38. And he said, my son shall not go down with you. No, he shall not. For his brother is dead, and he is left alone. If mischief befalls him by the way in which ye go, then shall ye bring down my gray hairs with sorrow to the grave. If you take my son and something happens to him, you gonna make me have gray hairs. Even though you told me, I'm going to make sure I ain't coming back here without him. And if I come back here without him, you do away with my son, your grandson. You see, we was talking about Benjamin, and Benjamin was Rachel's baby, like Joseph. Benjamin and Joseph was Rachel's babies. Since Rachel was gone, since Joseph was gone, since Joseph was no longer here, since we think Joseph is unalived, you're not taking my other Rachel's baby down there, because one thing for sure and 2 things for certain, I only got one more Rachel's baby. So in all of this reading, I've been going through this thing. About 30 minutes ago, I said, whoa, Lord, when I was studying, I think I finished studying. When I was studying, it brought to my attention what I had already read. I thought about that thing in a different way. This dude said, bump that son. It was a son down there in prison waiting for the other brother, because you know these are the brothers that sold him. The brothers that sold him. So they went down there, and Joseph is salty because, you know, I ain't even going to say because you're a man. Y'all sold me, and y'all wasn't going to unalive me. But y'all sold me, and I'm your brother. Joseph was like, y'all spies. Y'all ain't come down here to get no money. Y'all spies. Go get your brother. Go get your baby brother. Prove it to me. Bring him back. I'm going to keep this brother. And when you bring that one back, this one will be still here waiting for you. But if you don't come back with that one, hey, I'm going to believe you ain't want that one. If you don't come back with that one, let me tell you about what happened when I went to studying it. When I read in the first commentary, I said, Because I say on this platform, these verses tie in. I just be reading, and I be like, my spirit feel like, okay, that's the one. I don't always know how it's going to make sense. I said today, Lord, this one don't seem like it ties into pride and arrogance, and then I got to the next scripture. To the next commentary, and they broke it down, in a prideful and arrogant way. We gonna see. We gonna see. Let's see here. Then we got 3 Maccabees 3 and 7. Instead, they gossiped about the differences in worship and foods, alleging that these people were loyal neither to the king nor to his authorities, but hostile and greatly opposed to his government. So they attached no ordinary reproach to them. If we want no ordinary reproach, can you imagine what the reproaches was to the people that you felt like won't show no homage to the king? The people that was talking about the things that you ate and the way that you worshipped because it wasn't theirs, and they weren't talking about it, they was just talking about the differences because y'all wanted to come in there and make them eat what y'all ate, and all they wanted to do was eat what the God told them to eat. So they had to go in here and make up lies about the people. Ooh. I was supposed to go back and get them 4 verses, the 4 verses, because it expounded on the way that they lied in them before verses. But like, when I tell you that all of this revolt was about was wanting to be able to maintain the relationship that I have with God, but people coming in there and wanting to force you to have the relationships that they want you to have with the gods that they want you to have a relationship with. And you can't stop people from having any kind of relationships that they want to, but nobody should be able to stop you either. That's Hardy if I ever known Hardy. Pride cometh before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. You can't just keep you thinking that you can do those kinds of things. Especially when you mess with God people. I be telling the folks, don't mess with me, they God got me. Surah Gafir, 40 and 56. Surely those who dispute Allah's signs with no proof given to them have nothing in their hearts but greed for dominance, which they will never attain. So seek refuge in Allah. Indeed, He alone is the all-hearing, all-seeing. They call Him the beneficent God today. Like the Quran be giving God some names. I mean, the Bible give God some names, but the Bible give Him names. The Quran give Him like adverbs and stuff. Like, I love it. I love it all. Like, I love it all. But the Quran is new to me. Excuse me. Let's see. Let's talk about this pride here. A maximum, continually enforced. That's why I said you keep going in a way. The more that you're prideful, the more prideful you are. The more that you take the opportunity to act in pride, the more prideful you become. Continual enforcement. It gave the example. What did it give the example of? Because it wasn't the kite that I was. Dude, I am so mad. It gave an example of a kite, and that one was good too. The kite flying high, and just looking down at all the peasants below, because it's a kite and it can fly so high, and every peasant that's belong here, if it's a tree, it's a people, it's a car, y'all is peasants down there, because I ain't Mr. Kite. And then the string broke, and that joker started falling, And then the wind, they said it went back up, which means I believe the wind took it up. And then it fell to the ground. Pride comes before fall, before destruction. A haughty spirit. That was the haughtiest spirit kite that there ever was. And look what the next phrase is, a haughty spirit. Lifting, I didn't realize that's what was coming next. Lifting up, oh, no, I don't even know why that's there. It said God will cut short whatever is highly exalted. Don't you know if you, whatever is highly exalted, that especially means yourself, because pride just means that you're exalting yourself. You are thinking way above what you should be thinking. There's nothing wrong with confidence. There is nothing wrong with feeling good about yourself. Pride goes beyond that. Pride is going to look down on others. Pride does not feel like there is anyone that can tell them anything or do anything. And then it comes to a point where it becomes narcissistic, because then that person does not believe that there is even anyone out there as good as them, except for the few people that they may feel like that, and they still feel like they're superior to them. They're just a whole bunch of foolish around there thinking they're more superior than the other. Okay, over here. Woo Lord, woo Lord. There was a Chinese. Oh, okay. Hey, I got some things right there. He who flies high. Wait a minute. Oh, okay. Who flies not high, falls not low. And a great tree attracts the wind. And if you think, when you look up to taller trees, if they got foliage on them, they're going to shake more at the top. You'll see the movement in the trees, more so than you see the movement at the base or towards the bottom. You're going to see it move more in the top. I like nature. And Basque proverbs, I don't know what those are, but pride sought flight in heaven and fell to hell. You're just exalting yourself way up yonder, way up yonder. Eastern one, whatever is extended will tear, and whatever is long will break. You know, if you start making, hey, look, I'm gonna say that this one is a better one because it's this material, this plastic or whatever these materials are. But those chargers with that mesh material, yeah, whatever is long will break. Whatever is long will break, buddy. One thing for sure and two things for certain. Pride is the corruption of self-love. It later goes on to let you know that they are going to exalt themselves by thinking they're better or comparing themselves to weaker people. What kind of confidence is that? It's a puffed up sense of self-esteem. It's not self-esteem, it's a puffed up sense of self-esteem. You have made this up. You have fathomed that you have confidence, and a lot of times in this study will tell you it's attached. It's attached to money, but you don't gotta have it. This one gonna tell you that too. Money is just going to make you all the more haughty, because people just believe that when they got money that they can do all and say all and be all and feel all and all that good stuff, and you just can't be going around doing whatever you like. You can't do whatever you like. Ain't my tea out, boy. Let's see. Why I take them glasses off? It ain't take off glasses time when I'm out here and do book like that. Let's see what we got here next. Y'all, it's gonna be late. It's already late. It It says you think too highly of yourself when you think anything acquired is your own. I've been telling people, and I just had the conversation again just about a couple of hours ago um, with somebody when I had to say, who was it? Oh, my people sent me a Capricorn thing talking about how the five most possessive zodiacs. And every time she and I are on one together, she sends it to me. And I told her before I even went into the video, I said, I just said to God today, and that was based off of me having a conversation about someone else that I love, because I check those who I love, I cover those who I love. And I only got to talk about that because I talked about it to God. But I was saying that person has to understand that everything does not belong to him either, God. You told me that, you told me them babies ain't mine. You told me the babies ain't mine. They're not mine. Nothing belongs to you. It's all on. Why? Because when you leave, it's going to be right here. If it's something tangible, if it's material and tangible, it's going to stay right here. If it's family, they're going to stay right here until it's their time to leave. It ain't yours. It's just for you to enjoy while you're here. You think you got what you... Wait a minute. Oh, okay. You think you got or you are what you don't, and you ain't. Sometimes I have to. Sometimes I gotta study my own words. Welcome, y'all. Like, share, and subscribe. Sometimes I gotta study my own words. You think too highly of yourself when you're demanding undue respect. Undue respect. Respect is deserved. Respect is earned. So if you think that you deserve respect just because you're you, that's undue. Respect is earned. For the people in the back who didn't hear it, respect is earned. And this is where it says, not peculiar to persons of any rank. That means whether you got money, whether you don't, whether you this color, whether you that color, whether you this sex, whether you the other sex. No rank. Pride is rampant. Makes men overconfident in their own efficiency. I just had when I was talking to somebody and we was talking about, men being overconfident in their own efficiencies. Well, you shouldn't think too highly of yourself, because you never know when there is somebody there that doesn't even have to be a woman, like doesn't even have to be about sex. It could always be somebody there to bust your bubble. It could be somebody beside you, just like I said, that beside you that thinks even more highly of themselves than you do. And because it is not true confidence, it's easy to break. And God forbid, if you can be broke by somebody that just like you but working it better, God forbid true confidence enter into your way. Or you ain't gonna know what to do with yourself. You're not gonna know. Pride is an inlet for all vices. For all vices, every last one of them. If you have a prideful mindset, can't nobody tell you that a vice is a vice. That one's simple. That's like that city without walls. You think it's all good. Whatever I want to do, I can do. It feels good. Yeah. It feels good. Oh, it feels good. Yeah. It feels good. I feel it all in my hands. I feel it all in my feet. I feel it all in my bones. I feel it all in my bones. That's one of my favorites. I go to that one because I don't own the rights to it. None of that I done sung or rap. But I likes it. A moderate degree of self esteem. That's that over that that puffed up sense of self esteem. And moderate is excessive. Totally, 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 totally. We don't want to be there. Come over here somewhere. Get your confidence right, your true confidence, not your pride. And the thing is, God gives grace. A truly prideful person does not even understand that part of it. There are people that may really love God that who God don't like pride. God either will bring you bend that knee or tell you depart. It speaks about pride. The truly prideful miss out on repentance. You do not think you're doing anything wrong, or you don't care. That when God really gets you. Says it's an overvalue of oneself by oneself. God put whole pounds back on me because I was walking around in conceit. Now these pounds that's back on me right now, that don't have nothing to do with conceit. We working those away. We are working. But them pounds that came back on me 2005, 2006-ish. Yeah, those were pounds because my mind was not ready to be thinner. And God don't play by that pride, haughtiness, arrogance, conceit, whatever you want to call it. God don't like. Said pride is founded on an intellectual falsehood. He that overvalues self will undervalue others. He that undervalues others will oppress them. If that's when it becomes narcissism. That what I had said. That when it becomes narcissism because you are oppressing others. They're not as good as you. They're beneath you. It says to pride must be attributed most of the fraud, most of the injustice, most of the violence, most of the extortion by which wealth is frequently acquired. That's all I've been hearing out here on these YouTube streets about these millionaires and billionaires. You think they nice people? You think they even kind people? Did you hear the thing? It said, which wealth is frequently, that means it happens a lot. Pride must be attributed most of the fraud, injustice, violence, and extortion by which wealth is gained or acquired. And the people that just want money ain't gonna care. But if you want money and you want God, you better think about that pride, baby. Whew. You better think about that pride, cause God and mammon, you cannot serve two masters. Nope. For the love of money, people will choose other gods. And please, and thank you, don't get it twisted to think that people won't choose other gods without loving money at all. Anything that you idol is a other god. Insatiable desire of propagating in others the favorable opinion he entertains, of himself. They even pose to think of you like you think of you. Where they do that at? I done told y'all. Over there in Kardashianville. I ain't even been to Kardashianville in a whole long time. But I'd say that they want others to think about them the way that they think about them. I say it's a whole lot of pride goes on over there in that Kardashian household. Lord, look, OJ lawyer. Look, I wasn't even gonna talk about OJ, but since I done talked about OJ, let me just go ahead on and say I have prayed for the family of OJ Simpson. Whatever you feel about OJ Simpson, whether you like OJ Simpson, whether you did not like OJ Simpson, whether you believe that OJ Simpson was guilty, whether you did not believe that OJ Simpson was guilty, it kills me how people want to drag people through the mud and all like that after they pass away. Like everything you said, like what is it doing now? What is it doing now? Because his children ain't do nothing to nobody. His children ain't do nothing to nobody. He gone. He can't hear what you said. But my whole thing is, I don't know the law like talking about it. I know I did want to be a lawyer, and I've taken civics classes and all kinds of classes that deal with law, read books and stuff like that. But I don't know the law like talking about it. But I know that his attorney is about to let Ron Goldman get that money. That was odd. Even Harvey Levin said it was odd. That's odd. Before Harvey Levin said it was odd, I said, ooh, all I've been saying when they were talking, like, let us study his brain. Why y'all want to study that man's brain? That man is gone. Let the sleeping lie. He's gone. And that's all that I have to say about that. I don't even know how old OJ was. But let his family get some peace. And I pray that nobody can get in his brain to test it. I don't even want Ron Goldman to get the money, and I'm not a fan of OJ Simpson. I never have been. I'm going to say this. I had never heard anything about O.J. Simpson prior to. I hear them saying he ain't want to be black or what have you. A lot of that going on. Those are people that are not happy with themselves. You're gonna see what you're gonna see. That's why Sylvie just be wanting y'all to ponder, because you're gonna see what you're gonna see on TV all the time. If somebody ain't happy, you think that it's only black folks that don't want to be. Do you see how many times you got to say, "Ooh, they acting black"? And people don't like when that's said, but the fact of the matter is what the fact of the matter is. Fact of the matter is what the fact of the matter is. But I hadn't heard anything prior to the case. And the only other thing that I heard after the case, was he very prideful, arrogant? Yes. But as far as criminal behavior, the only thing I heard after the case was him strong-arming people for his own stuff. And he felt like it was his own stuff, and he wanted it, and he served his time for that. For that with which he was found guilty, he served his time. It wasn't his fault he wasn't found guilty. What defendant wants to be found? The guiltiest of them don't want to be found guilty. They get a lawyer if they can afford one, especially when they got money, so that they can get off. Defense attorneys become defense attorneys, the one with the integrity for the people that are not guilty. That's just not always the case. But we don't want to leave them out to the wolves. It says the arrogant, conceited person is ordinarily the superficial and ignorant person. I was neither. I won't say I was ignorant. I was not superficial. I won't say I was not ignorant because ignorant is just without knowledge. So I would lie because I'm ignorant. Because this tell you that you better always think that there's some ignorance in you, because the moment that you think you know everything and that you think you good, that's you in that dangerous prideful spot. You in danger. Get on the floor. Right chair. And that probably says, man, hey, look, you really can't listen to no music almost without listening to something that's true. When my daughter sent me that woman she had these 20s, from the 20s or something like that, talking about, that song burned my ears. That song burned my ears. When WAP came out, Karen Hunter, someone brought that song up to Karen Hunter because she was going in on WAP. That's when my daughter brought it to my attention, so that y'all can give. So can y'all give Cardi B a break, because and we wanna, but we'll go say but. We'll be sure to throw a but on that, but there's no but, because that song burned my ears. Where is it? He who knows most is most conscious of how little he knows. Didn't I say you better feel like you ignorant to something? I stay in this joker telling Lord, Lord, I don't feel like I know nothing. Lord, I thank you, because I do believe I'm intelligent. Lord, I promise you, I don't think I know nothing. I don't think I know nothing. You give it to me how you want to give it to me, Lord. I don't think I know nothing. People will always hear me saying, sometimes you got to break the stuff down to me for dummies. Break it down to me for dummies. I say that to God. God, break it down to me for dummies. What are you saying? Thank you. It said human knowledge is the knowledge of human ignorance. What? Oh, it said, try the phrase knowledge produces humility by our state by nature and our state by grace. Like, okay, for the Christians, why we think God tell us we need to be humble? And I'm not saying there ain't no humble people out there, but it's easy not to be humble. It's easy to just look at yourself and you think you're right. Unless you're just somebody that just don't see anything good, and then you're working on self-esteem from the other end. Said pride is the deficiency of knowledge in both the state of your nature and the state of your grace. Because you're not thinking about anything about it. You're not thinking about the fact that God shows you so much grace. Because if God didn't show you so much grace, give you so much mercy, you might understand the state of your nature in order that you might want to desire to walk a little more humbly around these parts. And when I say the state of your nature, because thoughts can just pop. That's why the God tell you to crucify your flesh and your thoughts and stuff, the thoughts can just pop in your head for no reason, for no apparent reason. They just sometimes just want to be in there. I said that person's foot is on quicksand and not the rock. You're supposed to be studying to know your own character so that you can learn your own character and deal with your own deficiencies, your own, your own. That's self-analyzation, studying to know your own character so that you can sweep around your own front door before you try to sweep around mine. And the more you study, the more you'll know that you should always be aware to sweeping around your own front door. It won't even stop you from sweeping around someone else's. It will change the way that you use your broom. That's all. When I went to Gil's commentary, all Gil basically said, remember them angels that thought they was going to elevate themselves above God, and remember Adam and Eve. Keep those on your ponder. Keep those on your ponder. When it went down, biblical went down and broke down haughty. It said the height of spirit. You at the top of the spirit chain, and that ain't a good thing. Cause it ain't good. Pride and haughtiness ain't good spirits. You at the height of those spirits. Head high, looking up. You ain't worried about where you're going, cause your head in the air. And then pow, there go a rock that you ain't even see. You're gonna just stumble and you're just gonna fall. Cause your head in the air, your nose in the air. You can't see over your nose because a lot of people got big noses of all colors. And we have big noses sometimes. You can't see over them jokers. Excuse me. But the bigger the ego, the greater the fall. Look, it be at the height of your riches and honor that be swelling. You be swelling with vanity and pride. And on the precipice of ruin, you're going to immediately fall off that cliff. On the precipice of ruin. You're at the height of your riches. Would that not, that kind of sounds like Sean Combs right now. That kind of sounds like Sean Combs right now. And you know, the YouTube street say that Sean Carter is coming down the pipeline. I don't know. I don't particularly like to just be speaking things, but you know, if they know some things, then they know some things. I don't be knowing things because I don't be knowing how they get the knowers yet. That's all. Okay, so the biblical spoke about grace. Wait a minute. I ain't even put that I had switched over. So we in Genesis now. So remember when I had told you it spoke about arrogance, and at first I didn't know that it was speaking about arrogance. So the pulpit commentary, I didn't even take on any of that because I couldn't break it down. I kept reading and it was like, Lord, this don't sound arrogant. Then I went to biblical. And the first part of the section that I was coming from was speaking about graceless children, and it spoke about how graceless children, as far as maybe children that despise their parents and stuff like that, like it says that they're the worst. It said, but then you have parents that take suffering on themselves to a whole nother level and basically project that outward, which is what Jacob did. Israel. because God had changed his name. Israel was not feeling that. He took on the excessive burden and the torment of the fact that his son was gone. And it's like, I understand, but God is like, you're still here. That's what the next part went on to say. Die from grief? Like, is Benjamin his God? Is Benjamin his life? Is Benjamin his exceeding joy? And that can sound easy coming out of a mouth, especially from somebody like me who knows. I'm just like, ooh, Lord. They be feeling like they is. But they not. If God still has us here, whether we man or woman, if God still has us here through the heart-wrenching, it's for a reason. Y'all know I said I talk on this platform to me first. We not gonna be here forever, but God's word gonna stand. God's purpose for our life is gonna continue. So if we don't walk in God's purpose for our life because we have decided that what we lost was too much and we fear losing it, it talked like he fathomed in his mind what could have happened to Benjamin if he just walked out of the door. Like he could have walked out of the door back then and got crushed by a Maserati. Bam, splat. In that surah, self-conceit offers no tolerance, and it broke it down and said, woe for the moment when you have to, and I'm paraphrasing, woe for the moment when you have to play Indian to the chief that you don't think is deserving because you think you above that person, and now they are over you. Oh, woo, buddy. So those are the efforts of small people trying to establish superiority. It will ultimately end in failure. Allah makes people great. That's from the Quran. All right, y'all. Let's talk Morico for a split second, and I'm gonna get on out of here. So we are coming up on the 15th anniversary of this case. So this thing has been going on for quite some time. Morico has been in custody since June of 2022. So he has been separated from his family for quite some time. Today I took the opportunity, y'all, I prayed over Morico and his family, but I had never prayed over the victims. And I'm not coming here because I don't feel like the victims need any closure or anything like that, their families. I'm not coming here trying to speak down on the families or anything like that. I am coming here because God placed me in a vehicle. God knows how I feel about spirit. God placed me in a vehicle with someone whose spirit I connected with, and she shared her story with me. And her life was uprooted because she had a husband in her home. She had a two-parent household with their children, working parents, and then out of the clear blue sky, and it was exploded on. Yes, God placed that on my spirit and didn't let me let up on it. God didn't let up on me to let up on it. And I felt a little touched today, right? Because when I went into, I scrolled this last time because I was trying to make sure wasn't nothing else in there hidden that was newer. But the December was the newest thing in there. But but I did see um, my stuff on the Google page as well, because um, I covered it. I have a playlist. You guys can go and check out my Morico Johnson playlist. I would love for you guys to go and check it out. Share it, because he going to trial in July. And the judge said there ain't no more pushing it back. This is the third different scheduling. The third different scheduling, and we're there because his defense attorney, Mr. Sims, said he was not ready to go to trial. The trial was supposed to be in January. The second date was supposed to be in January. He wasn't ready to go to trial because he can't get a hold of no witnesses. And the family did not just say that the family was, you just uprooted them. Like, she had to go and uproot herself and get on the snapback to be able to take care of her children as best she could without an entire income now. So they couldn't afford to go get a private investigator. That's the part that I was like, well, didn't I talk about this already? Because it looks like at the preliminary, if I am understanding, and I know the last time, I feel as though I've done a decent job, because Tanisha did come in and she corrected me where I needed correction, and I told her I'm going to go in and I'm going to correct it, and I did. So, y'all, I lost my train of thought right quick. Give me a split. Oh, okay. So, the last time I remember speaking about thinking that they was going ahead and setting it up where he can get the investigator, the private investigator. But it spoke like when, let's see. It spoke like when the ADA, his name Ethan Wilt, when it came to the private investigator, this dude says, wait, where is that? I know I wrote it. Oh, okay. Says it seems they want to use county funds for a glorified service process. Hmm. He didn't feel like they should be subpoenaing witnesses. But he just wants, I guess with the law, you don't, or the people that are on that side, you don't even try to take into consideration everything that the defense attorney said. The family can't afford this. Like, there was no compassion. There was a spirit of hardiness if there ever was. That's all I was saying about Ethan Wood. That was a spirit of hardiness that made that statement if there ever was. Why? Because Judge Ling, where we at? We're because I'm on the wrong page. My bad. Judge Thomas Ling is the judge's name. He asked Morico first and foremost if he was okay to wait 7 months for the new trial. And Morico did confirm. I'm sure on his brain what ain't just all over the place, because he ain't seen his family since June of 2022. It's just like I've been here since June of 2022. 7 more months. 7 more months. The judge said he couldn't imagine um, what it was like for Mr. Johnson having to be in jail and having been in jail for this long. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm tired. I'm really tired at this point. I'm almost done though. because I read some of this. I apologize. I mean, I've already spoke about some of this. That's why I am working on, and my space is so small because it's supposed to be an outline. I took a public speaking class. It's not supposed to be this much, so I'm still working on that. So if y'all will be patient with me, because y'all be patient with me all day long. So be patient with the lady, patient with the lady, patient with your woman, because she ain't always a lady. Well, she is. She just be rough around the edges sometimes. She'll be a rough edge lady. It is what it is. Oh, okay. He said that the purpose for the PI, this is what Sim said, the purpose for the PI is to track down accurate contact information for witnesses, to arrange witness meetings, meetings with the different witnesses, to help pursue any investigative leads, and to deliver subpoenas. That's why I said what's called was like you shouldn't be delivering subpoenas. Why? Said Ling said it's a labor intense case, so he did agree to the request of $3,000 as a cap for the private investigative fees. Anything, and I believe I said this back then, anything above that, he's going to have to come back and make another request. But he did get that request, and I was glad for that. And he also is trying to request federal documents related to a federal federal documents that were related to a federal grand jury case that's concerning McWhorter, who was one of the victims, and the activity, the trafficking, and her associates and everything like that. Said he's also hoping to track down some transcripts from an interview with another individual. So when he spoke about the transcripts, Judge Ling asked him was he certain that the transcripts existed. So he could not say that he was certain that the transcripts existed, but he said if they do exist, if these transcripts exist, these transcripts have the potential to release information, provide information on key players, and also the potential to deliver or discover a potential weapon. They also talked about what the expert witnesses could and couldn't talk about, and then the prosecution wants to have this animated short film introduced into evidence, and this is supposed to. One of them might show that I'm reading it correctly, because Judge Ling is concerned that it might prejudice the jury. It attempts, that means it tries to visualize, that means it sees the theory, that means my thoughts, all these feelings we talking about here. We ain't talked about one bit of proof or evidence, but we got a lot of feelings of how it occurred. Yeah. Lane said his concern is that video is going to portray a black man. No, did he? I had to do it, God. And the problem with that, now, for you, those of you that ain't never, then go over there and check out that Morico. But I'm going to tell you the problem with that, though. The problem with that is that the baby, y'all know that's the video that got the most views. He said he was blanc. He didn't say he was black. He said he was blanc. That's what that baby said back then when he was 4 years old. So now you got a video trying to portray a black woman. Hashtag funny business. Hashtag funny business. That implies that it was a person of color. Beep, beep. Who got the keys to my Jeep? Vroom. Y'all need to drive on past that. The baby said he was blanc. Leave that video out. Share this, please, and thank you. Leave that video out. He also is objecting to the crime scene photos. He said that that's not animation, that's real life. Wilt said that the prosecution intends to screen the video at the end of the trial after DNA and photo evidence turns page would have already been presented to the jury. Okay, so here's another one. Instead of officers, the officers that showed up at the scene that were actually there, instead of those ones just telling them what went on, they said that the video would show the jury what prosecutors who walk nowhere near anywhere on the scene ever. It's going to show them what prosecutors believe. Here we go to them feelings again. We think, because that's all a belief is something you think. If you don't know it, then you think it. What they believe happened in the McWhorter and the Daniels home. Ling was supposed to vote on all motions by the end of the day. The end. Yeah, that's where that article ended. That's where that article ended at. Ling was supposed to vote by the end of the day. It had Wednesday in parentheses. That was back in December. That was the HuntingtonDailyNews.com. Y'all, I thank you for your ears. We done talked about just like daddy. Just like daddy, come on. Just like daddy. We talked about that in reference and in comparison to the woman talking about the 304s, raising the babies and raising these children that come up, and she was talking about sons, but what would we do? Maybe they need somebody to show them love. Maybe they need somebody not to be always calling them 304s. Maybe somebody to get in their space that they maybe can see a better way. If maybe they don't have people. I don't think all the 304s just want a 304 all of their lives. But we talked about them. We talked about O'Shea Duke Jackson saying that Keisha Coles be liking them young boys so that she can control them, and I was like, okay, you was always y'all always got a way to put it back to the women. And then I watched Maude, and I didn't even tell y'all what the young lady said at the end. Once Maude was like, yeah, you just can't even be watching my baby. You just can't be dating my baby like that. And she said that she likes to date the younger people because all of the ones her age, they basically make her feel like meat because they want what they want. And the younger one, he was just innocent, and he just made her feel just like a person, and he was basically nothing he wanted to hear. Because when he walked down the stairs and heard what she said to him, he thinking he a man. But basically she said, you're a little boy. But that, to me, what the heck? That don't say nothing good about you still. That you needed to feel like you can get a little boy instead of get some backbone and maybe don't date until you can, I don't know, but go date a little boy. Come on now. Look, I'm about to drink my spoon. Yes, and then we just gave this update on Morico We talked about that pride and how Israel was very prideful in that, God said, even in his grief. Israel was prideful. Period. Hello, beautiful. Pride cometh before destruction, and a haughty spirit before a fall. The more that you pride, the more that you will want to pride. The more that you want to pride, the more that you are going to pride. The more that you are going to pride, God will cut that string. And then you'll be the kite that went up and dropped down. Sylvie love you, beautiful, and she is out. Oh, Lord.